I'm going to start off with a little bit of smooth jazz before we get started in earnest. Please stand by as I send out word on the socials. Alright, and there we go. Word has been sent out. The trumpets have been sounding. And we are live, I do believe. Hopefully. That would be hilarious if we're not. Hold on. Oh, yep, we are. We are live and broadcasting to the U of Tubes. Welcome everybody to another Night Rides. I know that I kind of skipped last night, but I am back. I am fully awake. I just needed a little bit of time off after a very long day. Let's put it this way, when your entire job is just staring at a screen all day for about 9 hours, you start to get a little bit cross-eyed at the end. So I was just like dead last night, but I'm here and we are in the beginning of another Night Rides. Hello Cryptic, welcome. Glad you can make it. Usual spiel, just in case anybody is watching on Blue Sky right now, that little portal. If you're watching on Blue Sky, consider jumping over to YouTube. We have a chat room that's open, and the chat room is free for your use. It's how you reach out to me and tell me how you're doing this lovely Saturday night. I will read your response and respond to them in kind. It's also where you'll be able to find other like-minded writers. They're all chilling in here with me, and it is a good time to be had by all. But, welcome to Night Rides. If this is your first time here, I've just explained the bulk of it. It is basically just a couple of hours of vibing and writing. We have word sprints each night, unless I'm editing, at which point you get to hear me stumble over my own words for a good, solid couple of hours. But considering the fact that I'm not editing, instead we're having word sprints. Those are 20-minute periods of productivity where you do as much as possible. We start them at 8:30. And we go for 20 minutes, then break for about 15 to chatter. Productivity is usually measured in word count if you're writing. If you're editing, it's also word count. I personally like to cheat and count every single word that you read. Not necessarily every single word that you've edited, but you do whatever you feel like. In between each of those sprints and around them, we have all kinds of chatter. I have been known to go off on subjects on rants of all kinds. So it's going to be a fun adventure for all of us. We're going to see how far I can go before we derail the entire thing for 40 minutes to talk about ducks. As always, there's an icebreaker of the night. Icebreakers of the night are just little things that we do for the first 20 or so minutes of each stream, where we sit down and we answer a question of the day. That's just to get us in the mood of hanging out and vibing with each other. Tonight's icebreaker of the night is pretty simple because it's probably going to be the last icebreaker before we hit Thanksgiving. That icebreaker of the night is, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Mine personally is, of course, stuffing, but I am very much a fan of all Thanksgiving dishes. That is why, even though I don't technically celebrate Thanksgiving, I still cook up a storm. I love experimenting. I love using today as, or not today, but Thanksgiving as an excuse to experiment. And the benefit of not actually celebrating is you get to have all the delicious food all to yourself. Cryptic says, I've been known to enable derailing, which is why I'm so delayed to have you here. Cryptic also says, best Thanksgiving dish, in my opinion, is literally any way to do potatoes. Give me potatoes and I'm beyond pleased. That is very true. All potatoes are also friends. Doesn't matter if you're mashing them, or if you're julienne frying them, or if you're doing au gratin, it's all delicious. We are all fans here. This year, for potatoes, I have two options. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do. I have fresh sweet potatoes that I am thinking about mashing up into a sweet potato mash. I also have instant Idaho russet potatoes, like the instant kind. It really depends on whether or not I feel like the meal is getting a little bit too sweet. Like, I've got an entire spread planned out. It's like the tofurkey loaf, which I'm very excited about because it's the first time I've been able to get my hands on an actual boxed tofurkey. I did promise the benefits of tofurkey, and I will say that tofurkey is a lovely concept. I've made it by hand from scratch a couple of times. It is an endeavor, but what I love about it is you get to like play with it and customize it in ways that you can't with a full bird, and it also just in plain tastes better than turkey in my opinion. But I'm also weird, and the idea of eating a mound of tofu that's baked into a loaf shape sounds more appealing than turkey to me. But I have that. I have cranberry sauce. I have the stuffing that comes with the tofurkey. I have a bunch of Pillsbury rolls because they were on sale. I was like, holy shit, I haven't had Pillsbury in years. And I'm making my own pumpkin pie. So that is a lot of sweet and a lot of carbs. I also have actual vegetables like kale and green beans. And keep in mind, I'm not actually making all of this at once. I'm making a good chunk of it and freezing a lot of it so that I don't have to worry about food until basically Christmas. But that is what's going on in terms of the Thanksgiving plans. But the main point is that is a lot of carbs. I feel like sweet potatoes might be a little overdoing it, but I didn't think about that when I got sweet potatoes. So I have instant backup. It's sacrilege, I know. From scratch is always better. And that's not like being pretentious or anything. It just is. But lazy. You know, sometimes you just want, when you're doing a bunch of other stuff, you just kind of want an easy dish to make. Pour in a pot, add water, there you go. But in any case, how about, so we've got Cryptic's potatoes and my stuffing, because you can't go wrong with stuffing. It is savory and herby and delicious and moist and goes amazing with proteins and gravy. But is there anybody else in the chat right now? And would you like to share your favorite Thanksgiving thing? Hell, you can even share your MC's favorite Thanksgiving dishes. We are basically just burning time for the next 15 minutes, so please feel free to drop in, say hi, tell us how you're doing, and also share what you and your characters like to eat for Thanksgiving. Cryptic says, sometimes you just want to make things easy or don't want to heat up the oven for one baked potato. Exactly. Like, sure, a baked potato is literally just wrap in tinfoil, stick in oven, and leave it for an hour, but like, sometimes you just want to have potato earlier than an hour, you know? And also, like, if you're doing all kinds of other things, you don't want to think about sticking potato in oven and waiting for potato, and then finding place to put potato. So that's my excuse anyway. That, and honestly, it's garlic herb instant mash, and like that sounds delicious. And also, garlic herb is adding extra steps to potato. So like, yeah, easy. Other than that, like, I don't really have any plans. It's actually kind of funny because like I was had this conversation with the exterminator earlier, and fun story. I currently live in an apartment with a bug problem. Like the apartment itself doesn't have a bug problem, the building has a bug problem. So when I moved in, there was actually a problem emanating from the upstairs apartment, and it was of no fault of the landlords. It was actually an act of God. Essentially, I won't go into the details. It's kind of like disgusting. But the problem was that because the previous tenant had up and left, like a couple days before I was due to move in, nobody had let the exterminator in, so it was infested with bugs. Cryptic says, "Oh, fun bugs." Yeah. It was probably the worst move I've ever had. It was traumatic already because I was leaving my partner, who is now my ex, by the way. The moving company kept on getting real up in arms because there was just more stuff that I kept on finding to add to the pile of stuff that I need to drag to New Jersey. I definitely forgot a few things. Stuff that I'm never getting back because my fucking ex just up and ghosted me instead of talking to me like an adult. But you know, it is what it is. But then there was a gas problem, and then there were bugs. So it was a wild month. But basically, the building was like, look, he comes in once a month. You have to sign up, and you sign up. So like, at least every month, even though I don't actually have a problem in the apartment with bugs, now and then I'll find like a tiny one. But like the actual roaches are like in the hallways, and this is something that I didn't know before moving in. Is what it is. But yeah, he comes in, sprays, we have a conversation. So he came in earlier today, and we had a conversation about plans. And the thing is, you know, I don't particularly celebrate Thanksgiving. To me, it's like just another day. It has no meaning to me. Even growing up, you know, my mom cooked for Thanksgiving, but we never invited anybody over really. And it was just random holiday. So I never put any importance in it. Never went out of my way to meet up with anybody. But like, I actually don't remember where I was going with this, but I think the main thing is like, he was like, you know, it's a little bit sad that you're not really inviting anybody over and you haven't invited anybody else over. You haven't been invited anywhere else. I'm like, yeah. But honestly, I prefer it if nobody invited me because like, it's not to say that I'm asocial. I enjoy hanging out with friends, but I don't enjoy parties at houses. Call me weird about this, but there's always this sense of obligation whenever you're at somebody else's house and eating at their feast. You know, you have to bring something, you have to sit there and just sort of like, you have to chill out with them. It's different whenever you're all going out and enjoying an afternoon at a restaurant or an afternoon in the park or something like that. Um, there's not, you're still kind of like almost obligated to stick around, but it's less pressure, I feel like. Like, I'm not saying like you're obligated as in you cannot ever leave your friends. It's like you're more, if you're like, you have social anxiety like I do, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to leave the first chance I get. You're going to be like, well, really I can't really come up with a good excuse to part ways with this group right now. But I will eventually, because the buses stop running at a certain time. But like, as a result, I get dragged all over the city whenever I'm hanging out with friends. But when I'm going to somebody's place, it's like super awkward. You're stuck there for a while because you can't really find the right words to say, hey, okay, I'm leaving. But at the same time, it's somebody's house. So it's all fun. But on top of that, like whenever I get handed a long weekend, I don't want to make any plans anyway. Like, sure, you can invite me and I'll mark it on the calendar if you do. But my plans are usually I'm going to lie face down for the first couple of days. And when I realize I have 2 more days to work with, I don't know, I'll go into the city and see what's up. I'm going to go to the holiday market and see what's up. But it's like, I don't know, like, I don't care too much about going out to a party, you know? Cryptic says, so stuff just keeps happening. Hope it all settles out soon. Well, first off, thank you. Second off, a lot of this was actually back in June. So a lot of it is finally settling down. I mean, I guess I can tell you the full story, but like, way back in the beginning of the year, my partner started getting distant, and he was like, finally after, pestering him, hey, what's wrong? He's like, we have to move out because I can't keep up with payments. I'm going to go live with my family for a while, and this is red flag number one, but I basically launched into a apartment hunt that lasted for a couple of months after that because I had to figure out what to do for myself. Like, partner by then was checked out, and I should have really understood that by then that everything was just falling apart between us. But finally I find one, and I think it's my dream. It's got, after like seeing so many different apartments that were like super expensive but lovely little places with backyards, and some of them I do regret actually never taking up, or seeing tiny apartments, seeing apartments with a definite obvious bug infestations, all kinds of fun stuff. I finally come across this nice apartment, has plenty of space, plenty of storage space. There's a laundry right down in the basement, so I don't even have to leave. It seems, all in all, a-okay. So I commit to it. It's a little bit more expensive than what I was hoping for, but I figure whatever. So I find a cheap mover because work isn't giving me a raise to help me out. And again, partner and I are in financial difficulty, so I don't really want to spend too much. I found a moving company, and all moving companies ask for your inventory before you move in. So I give them an inventory, like just rough estimate. But I forget to update that inventory. So when the movers came in, Like, they were putting all my stuff in the truck, and they kept on commenting on how much more it was, and insinuating that I should give a good tip. And it was like absolutely awful. They damaged a couple of stuff too and stole the fans, or not the fans, but like the side fins on my air conditioner went missing. So that's fun. But anyway, finally I move in. And I get to the apartment first, and the entire thing smells like gas. As it turns out, the maid that the realtor had hired had shut off the gas and didn't think to turn it back on. So, first and foremost, I nearly died the day that I moved in, so that's fun. But I start opening up the kitchen cabinets, which, mind you, I was not able to fully look into because there was a tenant living in the place before like, when I toured the apartment. And I find bugs, like dead bugs. And I look down and there's a roach crawling across the kitchen floor. Again, I don't want to explain why there was a bug problem, but it did not come from the apartment that I am living in. It came from the one above mine. But basically, for the first week, I had to fight with the realtor who kept on being like, making all these passive aggressive statements, being like, "Oh, this apartment never had bug problem. I don't know where you're seeing bugs." And I'm like, well, I'm seeing bugs. Here's photos of bugs, and I don't appreciate the fact. Eventually, I just snapped her. I was like, I don't appreciate the fact that you're insinuating what you're insinuating. So, at long last, I finally get the bug problem sorted out because they finally drag in an exterminator. They also repaired the windows because the windows were, every single window in the apartment would not open. And I wasn't informed of this before I signed the papers, so that was fun. It took them a month to repair the windows, and by then it was like the beginning of summer. So I wound up having to go into the city and work out of one of those WeWork spaces for the first month I lived here. But finally that all gets settled. And then all of a sudden, my ex stops talking. So that turned into a thing. He stops paying for the credit card that he maxed out too. He also took half of the security deposit, which I had paid for from our old apartment. So basically, he took money from me, like a lot of money, and I had to pester him to get part of it back. And then the credit card stuff started happening. In September, though, he was like, I have to take a job in Texas. So I was like, cool. When can we meet so that I can see you off? I want to see you out one more time before you leave, because it's a 2-year contract. I'm not going to see you for the next couple of years. And we should also sit down and talk about, do you want me to join you there? What's the plan? What would you want me to do? The next time he talks to me, he's like, yeah, I'm already down in Texas. So he left without saying goodbye. And then he said that he got laid off from his full-time job. And I'm saying this now because, like, he had this funny thing where he didn't want anybody to talk. He didn't want anybody else to know his business. Like, he was very adamant about it. But joke's on you, asshole. Now all of China knows your business. But the main thing is, like, that's the story. And finally in November, like end of October, throughout October, really, I start moving my stuff away from him. I took him off one of our shared credit cards, and I started making plans on paying off the other one that he maxed out that he was supposed to pay for. And I've tried to figure out what my options were to find him and make him, talk to me about the payments, but nothing ever went anywhere. But at the very end, which was the beginning of November, I just sort of gave up, and I was like, fine, he's not going to talk to me, and this is where we stand. So I broke up with him, and I sent him a series of texts before then to tell him, hey, we need to talk, and if you don't talk, then I'm leaving. And finally, I just sent him a voicemail, and it had to be a voicemail because he wouldn't pick up the phone. So that was a couple days before the election, and I spent the day before the election basically trying to talk to lawyers about him. And then I called the first one I called, finally, did a free consult, and he said basically there's nothing that you can do. You'd have to go hire a lawyer in Texas, and even then you might not have a case because you didn't actually pay anything. And at that point, it's like I just gave up on a lot of things, and that was the lowest that I've been in a while. Then the election happened, and for some reason, something there kind of made me turn around. A lot of the things, actually, a lot of my Final Fantasy friends basically dragged me back from a pretty dark place. So did my mom and a few other people. And Folk Rock Senpai, and they inspired me to just be focus on your creative stuff, start getting back into writing. So friends and mom were like, you have something to continue living for, but Folk Rock Senpai's create anyway, just pursue your dreams because it can still work. So I've been kind of clinging to writing as a little bit of a life raft. But the main point is this year has been super rough and super difficult, but things are kind of getting better. Little by little, anyway. It still hurts to just be ghosted like that. And especially if it's your first relationship in a while. But things always get better. There's always something on the other side, as it were. You just kind of keep on pushing forward because sure, things get bad and sure, things look bad, but they won't always be bad. But just a second, I just need a moment, sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to be that personal, my god. But yeah, you could say things keep happening. Things have kept happening, but you just keep on working and you keep on doing what you can to push yourself forward. I've been putting out more job applications. I'm getting a little bit closer here, little by little, to finishing this manuscript. And Blue Sky has really given me a means of connecting with other writers on a professional level. And for the first time, I do feel like I'd be able to get somewhere with that. So you cling to the hope that even if you're going through the darkest days that you've had in a while, there's always going to be a brighter tomorrow eventually. And I feel like that's going to be next year for me. Or if it's not next year, then it's going to be the year after that. You just keep going and you push forward and you keep hoping and working little by little. I know I keep on repeating, but that's the main thing. But I did to be like super fangirl, but I feel like I really do have to recommend like We'll Play for Food by Streetlight Cadence. Streetlight Cadence, I can definitely pronounce words. But like one thing that I've learned while watching that series, it was actually a year ago that I started watching that series, and I remember it was early December when I was going through another episode and I just realized, I was wasting my time. And I say this because a lot of the first season of We'll Play for Food is about how difficult it is to make it as a musician, but like as an artist in general. The second season is about that as well, but the first season is about how you should do it and not wait for it. Like jump in feet first, because the opportunity to experience the world, to be an artist, those aren't things that just happen to you. They're things that you work hard on, and you're not always going to end up where you want to end up. But the point is that you have to start the journey yourself, more or less. So that is something that I'm kind of taking to heart. Good things don't always just happen to everybody. Like some people do get lucky. Some people just have opportunities fall into their laps, or they make the right connections, and they don't have to worry about when that opportunity is going to just come to them. But other people will wait forever for the right time, and that right time never comes. So if you're that kind of, unless you're lucky and you're going to be lucky, you have to carve your way into whatever it is that you want to do. You have to actually actively follow your dreams and not be afraid of what kind of failure and not be afraid of failure, more or less. And then the second season, which is coming to YouTube early December, which I'm very excited about. That's also something that I kind of needed to hear. It's just, art is worth it, no matter how rough it gets. But anyway, yeah. So that's where I am right now. Like, keep pushing forward and keep pursuing my dream. Focus on that. And it fills up all the moments between everything else that I'm doing. It fills up the moments between work and all those moments of silence whenever a job doesn't get back to me or things like that. It fills up the moments between when I talk to my Final Fantasy crew. Every waking moment is basically thinking about what else, what the next step of the book is going to be. And it's been helpful because now I don't think about my ex all that often. I still do, and like I said, it's still going to be difficult. It's still fresh wounds, but you know, I have something to focus on, and I have priorities essentially. Um, Cryptic says, "Oh my god, I knew a bit because you'd mentioned a bit on Discord, but holy shit, take all the time that you need. This has to be hard." It's actually kind of funny because like the more that I tell people about this, the more they're like, "Holy shit," and it kind of hits me like it's a comfort also because like sometimes you know how it is whenever you're dealing with mental illness. You don't think about. Sometimes you downplay your problems and you don't realize that they're problems. So like in this case, it's like, well, maybe I'm being impatient. At first, it was like I should be patient. Maybe he'll talk to me again. It's just he's going through a lot, and then I explain it, and people are like, "Holy shit, he's a douche." Like, a lot of people are like, "Do you need me to go beat him up?" Like, even people who are like, even people who knew how much I loved him beforehand and had seen him essentially through rose tinted glasses like I did, were like, yeah, no, you need to leave him. But it's a comfort because like, sure, validation, but also mostly validation, to be honest with you, because it says that I made the right decision. And also that it's a good thing to open up about this and to talk about how bad it is. And in some cases, it has actually led to tangible help. That's part of why I say, a lot of people helped drag me back from the brink. Because, like, if I didn't open up about it, then I wouldn't have the safety net that I have right now. Like, the support network of folks who are willing to include me on things, and folks who are like, give me your resume, I'm going to go send it to people. And it's like, or people who are like, give me your coffee, I want to help you out. It's like amazing what people have, the kindness that people have shown me throughout all of it. So it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I'm so grateful for everybody. I really am. Like, you don't even know. Also, hi, Companion Wolf. You came in the middle of all that. Cryptic says, problems? What problems? I don't have problems, lies. Yeah, exactly. Like, when you're so used to people being like, I don't know about you, but I grew up in a background where everybody would downplay my issues. Like, teachers would be like, yeah, you don't have problems. You're actually more of the problem. Like, friends would constantly make fun of me. My dad was definitely a pick 'em up by their bootstraps kind of person, so he would always be like, oh, just to get over it and stuff like that. Like, so I kind of like spent a lot of my formative years being like, nobody's going to take me seriously. So, and my problems are just my problems. So I'm not going to talk about them ever. And then I get to adulthood, I start going to therapy, and even my therapist is like, that's not healthy. Um, but I mean, after getting out of essentially that entire fun time and being an adult, I've come to realize that, there's a difference between constantly complaining and being dramatic and just opening up about what you're going through. And it's okay to open up and talk about what you're going through. That is healthy. That is how you fix problems. Manuel says, I hope things get better. I would offer smarter words, but I'm still reeling from weird dreams. Never take a 3-hour nap. Or alternatively, take a 3-hour nap, but that particular one was bad for you, and I'm so sorry that you had weird dreams. I mean, 3-hour naps in the middle of the afternoon sound like a good way to spend the afternoon. I am really looking forward to my 4-day weekend because I feel like that would be a great idea. I feel like that is a Saturday well spent, and I envy you a little bit. Cryptic says, my problems were only allowed to be a problem if they were bothering someone else. Yes, exactly, essentially. Although my problems weren't even allowed to be problems then. They were supposed to not exist because somebody else was, like, having an actual problem. So, like, man, like, the older generations were shit about mental health. Like, I know I idolize the 90s and early 2000s because in a lot of ways it was a simpler time, and honestly I would love to have the political and literal climate that the 90s had, where it wasn't all the things all at once. But at the same time, god damn, we have made so many leaps and bounds, and mental health was one of them. Manuel says, 4-day weekend, yippee. Also, the feel about not having your problems considered and denied. Your pain is still real. Thank you for that. But yeah, that really is the gist of it, isn't it? Like, if you're going through it, you're going through it. Like, if you're hurting so bad that you can barely function, that is real hurt. Like, just because somebody might have gotten, and excuse my graphic wording here, but just because somebody had gotten stabbed does not erase your broken arm. Like, if you are hurting, talk about your problems. Like, find somebody who'd be willing to listen to your problems, be a therapist, a friend, family member, whatever. But don't listen to people who try to tell you that your problems are not real, because they're real to you. Like, don't internalize that fucking trauma, guys. Don't be like me. Cryptic says, see, my mom liked having an excuse to scream at people, so if my problem meant that, then she cared. Man. Your mom sounds like she had your back, and that's really nice, though. My parents wanted me to be strong, essentially, and my dad basically didn't understand what the problem was because he used to get... There were times when I would describe the literal physical abuse that I had gone through with one of my best friends, and my dad would bring up the fact that he had faced anti-Semitism in high school and would get beaten up for being a Jew. I was like, yeah, that's terrible, but I don't understand why you would want your kid to go through literal physical daily abuse. And that was a point that I could only get across when I was well into adulthood. And I apologize to whoever just came and left. I promise that we'll get to the word sprint soon. It is 8:48, but it is like therapy time, I guess. Dead in 2 feet of water. Companion Wolf says dead in 2 feet of water is dead as at 20 feet. Yeah, basically. You didn't need to be strong, you needed to be safe and loved and seen, heard. And also, yes, basically. But, and honestly, therapist would agree with you that, that's what needed to happen and that is not something that happened. Companion says, and I am sorry that the adults failed you. It really does mean a lot. This is an ongoing conversation that I have with my parents. Because sometimes my mom gets it. Like, she got it whenever I explained to her what my abuser actually did. And what childhood was actually like for me. My dad still continuously doesn't get it. So it's fun. Triptych says, honestly, my feelings on my mom are complicated because she would have my back until my problem was anything she did. Then I was an evil. Oh, you were raised by a narcissist. I probably should back off of that a bit before I get too deep. Definitely talk about however much that you feel comfortable talking about. But that is also a shit situation right there. Like being raised by a narcissistic parent and not having your concerns taken seriously unless they benefited her. Unless, or not having. Let me make that a little bit correctly, huh? Not having your concerns taken seriously if she had anything to do with them. There. But overall, yeah, shenanigans all around. Some people are just terrible for you, and other people, you will find the good people out there, I promise. Cryptic says, just have definitely gone far enough to make others uncomfy in the past. I'd hate to say it like this, but I have actually met quite a few people who have been in your situation too. Varying degrees of it, but it is rough. So, like, I don't feel uncomfortable if you want to share anything else. But this is also like a YouTube chat, so like, I don't feel at all uncomfortable to talk about myself because, like, I'm just like that, and also, again, and now all of China knows that you're Dick X. But, I am not going to force anybody else to bear their own wounds on YouTube. So ultimately, share however much that would make you feel comfortable. We've dropped down to 2 concurrent viewers. So it's just basically you, Companion Wolf, and me just chatting right now, I assume. I know that part of that is probably because we're an hour into the stream and we still have not yet done our first word sprint, and I feel like we're going to eventually start our first word sprint. I promise. I will have to repost this and be like, hey, sorry about the hour-long rant. We're starting now. But yeah, Companion Wolf says, side note, my favorite Thanksgiving food is maybe stuffing, yummy, but it depends on the stuffing. I'm picky. I agree with you. Like, granted, I'm all for any kind of stuffing. Even the kinds with walnuts in it. I know that's a controversial opinion, but there's something about the savoriness and the softness of the bread surrounding it that make up for it. Cryptic says, what did I say earlier about enabling derailments? LOL. Anyway, yeah, I am going to quote post this. Anyway, we're going to start off in about 5 to 10 minutes. And I know that sounds like it's going to be a derailment, but I also want to give people a chance to talk about what they're actually working on. For me, it's going to be continuing on with the Nameless Song as usual. We're on chapter 15. I am actually going to be transcribing for the first sprint, so when I get done, please don't be alarmed by the word count that I've got going on. It is a lie. I have pre-written these words, but feel free to drop it in chat and let us know what you are working on. Companion Wolf says, oh god, I need to pick a thing to work on. You have a couple minutes, I think, because you know me, I like to start on a nice round number, and we are coming to up to 8:55, so that'll be our first word sprint. 20 minutes are on the clock, and as a reminder, this will be 20 minutes of solid productivity. And at the end of it, we're going to take 15-minute breaks and then launch into our second sprint. So, if you haven't yet picked a project, I'd say pick it now. If you have picked a project, drag yourself to your docs or your pen and paper, whatever you'd like to write on. Because we are now settling into writing mode. Take a deep breath. Shake out your wrists. Flex your fingers, just to like do a little bit of physical warm-up before you get into it, because you don't want to launch into it. It is going to be physically intense, and you don't think about how physically intense it's going to be until you're 15 minutes into it and suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome. Don't do that. If you haven't gotten water, get it literally right now. And we are going to start in just now. Good luck with your projects. Get ready. Get set. 20 minutes. Let's go. that is our first of 3 sprints for the night. How did you all do? As for me, 398, which is not too bad for a start. Apparently I had ridden a little bit less than I was expecting on my way out. But, you know, to be fair to me, it was cold and windy today. Not a very conducive setting for riding, as I say as an excuse. I'm really excited about tomorrow, though. I will be out and about, and I am only 3 pages away from finishing that journal. So that is the thing that will happen tomorrow. I am going to finish another journal. It's going to be glorious. There will be words. But in the meantime, I'm feeling good about the progress that I managed to make. How about all of you? Companion Wolf says 604 characters are about to go into a mystery dungeon that's connected to the town dive bar. They're going to get trounced. Oh, that's always fun. That is for sure fun. But also, excellent progress as always. I am always impressed by the fact that you're able to get done many words in such a short amount of time. So 604 words is for sure an excellent start for you. Really looking forward to seeing how many more you add on. God, I hope you know what a mystery dungeon, the ones from like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I'm very familiar. I used to be part of the Pokemon fandom, and in fact, most of my friends towards the end were super into Mystery Dungeon. It's a weirdly popular, I mean, I shouldn't say weirdly popular because it's the one facet of the franchise that actually fully focuses on the entire point of the franchise. And also, I somehow attract a lot of furries. I mean, what? No, but seriously, I definitely know what a mystery dungeon as a general concept is. They are very fun in terms of not board games, but video games. And also, you know, TTRPGs. I've never actually played one that's like an original TTRPG. I've seen people play a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon TTRPG, but that is the closest I've ever gotten. But they do look like fun. There's a lot of creativity that goes into them. So I hope that yours was also fun. Cryptic says, I've been doodling, TBH. That is also totally cool. Would you like to share a little bit about what you've been doodling? We've also lost a viewer ever since I said I have a lot of furries. But you know what? In this house, we respect furries. Like, first off, furries are keeping so many artists alive. Like, it is insane how much money furries have to throw around, and I am a little bit envious. Second off, a lot of them are super creative. Like, sure, there are some weird ones out there, but like, don't go on to DeviantArt and look up any of your favorite Pokemon. Let's just say that. But in general, you know, like, furries are very chill people, and I am not a furry myself. Shockingly, despite the fact that I like writing things like Dude Turns into Dragon. Never have been a furry. I do not identify as an animal. I respect people who do. They may do with themselves what they wish so long as they don't hurt anybody else or animals, obviously. But I don't know, like, a lot of them are just so open-minded and very sweet. Like, I remember one of my first jobs was when I was working in college, and my dad used to work for a parking company, and he got me a job as a cashier at a garage. This garage served the largest furry fan convention in the United States at that time. it also hosted other conventions. I remember also working a lawyer convention, medical professional convention, all kinds of conventions. But it was the furries who were just the sweetest people and who treated me like a person. And I really, like, I had always kind of known that furries were kind of decent people, but like, that was the moment where I was like, oh, they are decent with a capital D people. Like, they would always be like super happy to see me, and they were always like apologetic if they needed to take time to uh, find the right change. And they were always kind of like, like the lawyers would always be like super uppity and super like, you're wasting my time ish. And, but it was never like that with furries. Um, Manuel says, let's go furries. He is a furry himself, yippee. Cryptic says, stick figures. I have had a project I've wanted to do that stars a stick figure. That is awesome. I used to read XKCD a lot in college. I fell out of it, though, because reasons. But I admire the creativity that goes into stick figure comics, too, because you wouldn't think so. But it takes like every single piece of stick figure media I've ever seen has been like super ridiculously creative. So I'm excited to see what you're doing with them. Cryptid says, also as a furry, they're either loaded or broke as fuck. Guess which one? That is very true. I have also, like, I know furries from both sides of the spectrum. I don't talk to them as often as I used to, but I would have friends who would just like constantly have the money for these really elaborate art commissions. Like, I'm talking hundreds of dollars per week going to art commissions. And I'd be like, what the fuck? How do you have this much money? And, then I've also had like the starving artist furry friends as well. So for sure, there is definitely a dichotomy going on there. You're either fully fucking like 6 figures, 7 figures loaded, or you're broke as fuck. So, Companion Wolf says me, handshake emoji, Cryptic being on the broke furries. Cryptic says someday I will be able to afford a fursuit. I'm curious now. I never actually knew that you yourself were a furry. Like, we've known each other for a couple of years now, but it just never came up. What is your fursona, and what would your fursuit be? Also, those fursuits are fucking quality. Like, I've seen some really awesome stuff in the fursuit department. Like, personally, and some of them just look straight up comfy too. Like, I would kind of want one, even though I'm not a furry. Like, I don't know what I'd get, but imagine like lounging around and you're in this cocoon of pillows. I imagine that's what they feel like. I've never actually. That's one thing I've never actually done. I've never met somebody with a fursuit, like in person. So I've never been able to see an in-person fursuit outside of that convention, and even then didn't count because number one, you do not touch customers ever, and number two, I was behind a glass pane. But like, they look so comfortable, not gonna lie. I would love. I hope that they are actually on the inside just like pillowy suits that are just like you're in a cocoon of pillows. Because, like, don't break the stream for me. I want to be in a cocoon of pillows and blankets. Just cocoon the shit out of me. Cryptic says, also, if you like stick figure comments, if you have not read it, I adore Order of the Stick. I have read Order of the Stick, or at least I had ages and ages ago. I don't know if they're still going on. It would be hilarious if they were. There's like some webcomics that had just up and vanished off the face of the earth, and then others that will not die, like Elgunu Shiv. Like, I didn't even know that was still going, but apparently it still is. And Girl Genius is another one. But Order of the Stake was fantastic shit. Was like my shit back in 10 years ago. That it was fantastic for sure. Fursuits are such art. It's a Companion Wolf says fursuits are such art. It's so cool how people are so talented, right? Like a lot of them are so complicated too. Like you sure you have your for cute little cartoon mascot ones, but then you'd have like elaborate butterfly wings and like I don't know, Ghibli style animals, and it's like, god damn, they're so pretty. Cryptic says, and also D&D. Companion Wolf says, Order the Stick Mansion. Cryptic says, a deer, except it's not. I can elaborate. I would be interested. Cryptic says, yes, the not deer. I've designed it twice, once with a Hero Forge and once with a Persona Maker I found, and the combo of the two is where the truth lies. Yes, Order the Stick is still going. Jesus Christ. Somehow I'm not surprised that Order the Stick is still going. Like, it does have that vibe of the one internet property that just will not die. I am kind of curious about the not deer, so feel free to pitch that into Discord at some point. I want to see, because deer are the shiz. They are the aesthetic, as it were. It was the antlers, really. It really is. But Companion Wolf says, I saw like old-timey cat pursuit. It was like realistic anthro cat and was epic. Oh, I think I've seen that too. Were those like the videos of like there's this stall in Japan. It's kind of like one of those mall kiosks, but it's like I think it's a bakery or something like that. But it's staffed by somebody in a cat fursuit. And it's so realistic. It almost seems like you're looking at a 5-foot tall, realistic cat who's just casually serving you baked goods and taking your money. And this is a thing that just happens in Japan, because of course it would be Japan that does this. But is it that? Because if so, I agree that fursuit is ridiculous, but also absolutely gorgeous. Be right back for a quick sec. And back. Sorry about that. Just had to adjust something. Cryptic says, hi, my internet died. You have missed literally nothing except for Companion Wolf and I talking about realistic cat suits. I definitely missed thing. Like I said, it's just Companion Wolf and me talking about realistic cat suits. Like this one bakery in Japan that is staffed by somebody in a realistic cat costume. Or at least I think that's what Companion Wolf was talking about. Companion Wolf is looking for it themselves. But we have less than a minute to go before our next sprint. And normally I would be like, let's just keep on chatting. But after the first hour, I feel like we should totally just kind of like gear up for the next one. But for sure, if you find it, Companion Wolf, just like toss it in Discord or something like that. I did invite links, but I don't know how that works with YouTube yet. I know that y'all once that somebody tried to send a link in chat at one point, and the moderation bot ate it. So we're not doing that. Basically, if you have links to send me, you can send it to Blue Sky via DM, or you can send it to me via Discord. But either one will work if you want me to see a thing, and I will see a thing usually after the stream, because, we're trying to stay on task as much as possible. And speaking of which, we are now set for the next sprint. It is going to be another 20-minute sprint. So whatever you're working on, flex out your fingers and get ready. Cryptic says, yeah, I was not allowed to send a link. Yeah, it was probably you. You're the one who's usually... I don't mean to say you're the one who's usually, but yes. Let me just see. There we go. Let me just take a peek. Oh, that is not what I was envisioning, but that is very pretty too. Anyway, time to focus, as Firefox keeps on saying. So, 20 minutes on the clock. Let's all take a deep breath and get into the zone for being productive again. And good luck with whatever you're working on. And here we go. All right, that is sprint number 2. Let's see. That is 392 more words. I'm going to just push a little bit further because I don't like to stop in the middle of a sentence, but let me know how you guys did. All right, and now I'm stopping. So, how did you guys do? You've heard my progress, nearly at 392 words. We are sticking with that count. Jax Wolff says, hold on, I lost where I was. LOL. Fair enough. But yeah, drop in anything else that you'd like to talk about in the chat. I've also, I know that I promised that we'd be switching over to something else that was not lo-fi jazz for this stream, or actually technically last night's stream. But while I do have a Hans Zimmer epic music video in another tab, and if you came in real early in the stream, you might have heard a tiny bit of it. And technically we're deep enough in that nobody's going to be like, "Oh, you're playing copyright music, how dare you." I'm sure that won't be a thing. But I stuck with winter coffee jazz, cozy jazz and snowy holiday ambiance for a relaxing day. Because, I don't know, it just feels more comfortable talking over that instead of... Oh, hey, Lena Cat, what's up? I didn't realize you were in stream. Lena Cat says, I got 241. That is also excellent. That is excellent progress if you're just joining us. Companion Wolf says 801, Jesus Christ. But also, like, share us your secrets for how you managed to get that much done in 20 minutes. I am super impressed by that. But 241 is also a really good progress. Like, that's my average. So, if you're just joining us, that is excellent for sure. But yeah, if you'd like me to switch over to the epic music soundtrack for the last sprint, let me know. The only reason why we're still on winter coffee jazz, cozy jazz to for a relaxing day. The reason why we're still on that is because it just seemed like it was easier to talk over. Whereas with epic orchestral music, it's great for focusing, don't get me wrong. Like, I have done a lot of awesome stuff while listening to like Two Steps from Hell and that kind of stuff. But it's kind of weird, in my opinion, to talk over. Like I said, in my opinion, you kind of want to like listen and be productive and not actually chat at the same time. Companion Wolf says, I just type really fast and do whatever comes to mind first, editing and making sure if it makes sense later. That makes sense. That is true. Like, if you're doing stream of consciousness and just throwing words down, you can totally edit later. I've definitely been, lately at least, the more like, well, what do I want to do next in terms of a step with this plot? But then again, I'm also working on rewrites, so it makes a little bit more sense for me to do that. But if I didn't have to worry too much about where I was going, that sounds like a really good idea. Like, just smashing words, stream of consciousness style, and just ending up wherever you end up. That is a 100% valid writing method, and I highly recommend. But yes, like I said, I do have other music. We can do it for the last stream of the night, or the last sprint of the night. We are in the last stream of the night, obviously. But let me know. Or if you're cool with winter coffee jazz, we can keep going with winter coffee jazz. I'm pretty sure it has been the same damn few bars for the past 2 hours. And part of me is like almost apologetic, but at the same time, y'all knew what you were getting into. Niket says, haha, I actually had to turn the music down to near mute to write with because I'm working on a high fightish scene. In that case, would you like me to play fight music? I mean, I don't know. Granted, I don't know if the fight music that I have queued up would be the right fight music. When I last left that tab, it was definitely playing the Pirates of the Caribbean. Cryptic said, I gotta go feed the cats, BRB. See you in a bit. Niket says, I joined in a little after the last sprint, I think. Totally cool. The first hour was therapy session, so you weren't missing too much. Then the first break was Furry Central. And now we're talking about music, I guess. Companion Wolf says, update on the mystery dungeon. They found a effed up book, and then Parker got his brain exploded by a cosmic horror creature. He's okay. It just, you know how it is with the brain breaking things. Oh, for sure. I hate when that happens, and I'm in the middle of a dungeon. For sure. D&D. Just in dungeons in general. It's like a common thing. I get it. But in any case, yeah. I mean, let me see if there's anything cool in terms of Two Steps from Hell. It's been ages since I've actually listened to Two Steps from Hell. Granted, again, we are getting into copyright territory. There is epic music mix. That does sound like the perfect way to round this out. Well, I love how people know exactly what we're searching Two Steps from Hell for, because there's like hour-long compilations of powerful epic music mix. Two Steps from Hell and Thomas Bergerson. Ooh, that's also a really good one. And like 6-hour videos and stuff like that. I feel like we're gonna do that. We'll switch over to powerful epic music for this last sprint and see what happens. I mean, I will keep the snowy winter coffee jazz like queued up, and I'm not going to start the epic music until we're just about ready to start the last sprint. we're gonna see how it goes. But yeah, as always, if you have any recommendations or requests in terms of music, I feel I will say it like this. Just as a general rule, I want to get a decent amount of the way into the stream before I start playing the copyrighted stuff because like I doubt I only have about 23-ish followers right now. And only about 5 people max come to these streams, so I highly doubt anybody's going to report me for it. But I don't want to fuck with the bots, you know what I mean? So, like, I am always hesitant to play copyrighted stuff very obviously. But if y'all want the fun stuff, you are very welcome to send me links of or song names, like something that you can write to, at least. Like, don't like make sure that it's something that you can write to, is all I'll say. But feel free to send it via DM, name it in chat, and or like send it to me on Discord, and I will set it up after we've gotten into the stream. So like right now with our icebreaker and stuff like that, when on our 8:30 time start, that should be a good enough buffer, I think, to start playing shenanigans. But yeah, I will take into consideration requests, and we will try to make that happen and see how far we can get away with it before YouTube knocks on my door and is like, fuck you, stop doing that. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I also don't monetize the streams, so I feel like it might be easier for me to get away with. Like, the dodgy part is whenever you start monetizing those shenanigans, you know what I mean? Like, it's with anything, really. Like, everything, all those, like, art templates and, unsplash photos, they actually do have copyright on them, but you have to, like, look at it hard. It's a type of copyright that is, like, for non-commercial use, so the moment you start making money for it, with it, you're supposed to be reaching out and asking for permission. But at the same time, I have also watched live streams where one of the YouTubers I follow is called Dave's Archives, and he does Friday night streams of nostalgia content. And at one point, he played a song, and YouTube straight up shut him down. I can't remember if he actually monetizes his streams though. I think he does. He takes donations, so that might be a difference. Leacat says, YouTube with an evil mustache knocking on the door, and Companion Wolf says, I'll bite YouTube. I love you both. But, yeah, for sure. We are going to experiment. We are basically going to fuck around and see if we end up finding out. That's what's going to happen with the music. But, like, for sure, send things that you can write to. Like, Godspeed Black Emperor is okay. Godspeed Black Emperor's demo tape is not. And that is a Lost Mia joke for all of you guys out there. In all seriousness, like, symphonic metal, yes. Heavy ass black, death metal with screaming vocals like Rammstein, no. Like, yeah, that's the main difference, really. Anyway, we are coming up to the end of our last long break. So that means that we are quickly coming up to our last sprint of the night. So be prepared. The timer is about to buzz. There's that timer, which means we are shaking out our wrists and wiggling our fingers, just preparing for our next sprint. And once again, this is going to be our last 20-minute sprint of the night, 20 solid minutes, and then we will talk about when the next one will be coming up, because it's going to be fun. Scheduling is going to be fun, I swear to you. But that having been said, let me just put a pause on Winter Coffee Jazz. I think this is AI art too, so I shouldn't be even looking at this shit. And this is Powerful Epic Music, Two Steps from Hell, and Thomas Burgerson. And let me... That's... That fox. I'm all for that. Anyway. Proper epic music put on. Vibes generated. 20 minutes is on the clock. Wrists and fingers are relaxed and at the ready. Eyes are on your ducks, one should hope. Oh god, this is such a good song. I love Two Steps from Hell in general, and anyway. Companion Wolf says, I'm back, the cats didn't eat me. Welcome back. Glad to hear that the cats didn't eat you. Cat says, yes, epic music. Yes, indeed. So, with 20 minutes on the clock, epic music in the background, here we go for our final sprint. Good luck. Get ready, get set, and go. All right. That is the last sprint of the night. So, how did we do? For me, here, 423 words, which isn't bad considering the fact that I kept on getting distracted. But, all in all, not bad progress. Let me see where I started, just out of funsies and curiosity. 1305, which is not bad. Getting back into the swing of things for reals and for sure. Cryptic says Toast objected to me using the bathroom before I fed him, but he survived. There we go. And almost finished my popcorn, lol. Also, excellent progress. Jax Wolff says 633 overall, 2085 words total over the 3 sprints. Excellent job. That is a proper nano run right there. Leoncut says 276, not bad for a fight scene. Indeed, not very bad, not bad at all. So how's the music, by the way? Because if it's good, I'm going to bookmark it so that we can come back to it. Because fuck yeah, this mix is jumping. Like, this particular video does have a list of all the tracks that are played. I've listened to a lot of them before, but I'm in the same boat as Lena Kett. Some of them I have not heard before, but hell yeah to them. And it's also missing my favorite Two Steps from Hell track, which is not conducive for writing anyway. But, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to actually bookmark it anyway. And this one too. Leacut says it isn't a real fight scene, but it's fight enough. The music was very cool. Excellent. We're going to do this again next week in that case. Speaking of next week, as you know, next week will be Thanksgiving. As you also know, if you tuned in very early in the stream when we first started talking about the icebreaker, I do not celebrate Thanksgiving. At most, I make my own feast, and that feast is just for me. Thanksgiving is the day when I experiment with cooking and feast on the delicious, delicious rewards, and then box up the rest for like the next several weeks. But in any case, that means I will be here and I will be partying on a Thursday night live stream. Friday night is also is something that I'm traditionally in for. Like, I have made it a point ever since my working in retail days to never ever set foot outside of the apartment on Black Friday, and that is a tradition that I'm keeping up with. So Black Friday, that is the Friday next Friday. I will also be here, also be doing live stream. And we'll be playing it by ear on Saturday and Sunday. But something tells me I'm going to be doing Saturday and Sunday. Again, we'll see what happens. It shall be however it goes. But if you join us next Saturday, or if you join us next Thursday, that would be awesome. It is Thanksgiving, so if you have your own plans, also totally cool. Do what you wish to do. If I don't see you, then happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you catch the live stream after, or the live streams that might happen on Saturday or Sunday. As you also know, that is going to be for sure our next live stream. I'm not doing a live stream tomorrow because I will be out and about. I never do live streams on Mondays and Wednesdays because those are my final hanging out with Final Fantasy people days. This coming Tuesday is going to be D&D night, so no live stream done. So for sure, the first time that you will get to hear my lovely voice again will be on Thursday. So hopefully, I keep on looping back, but hopefully you'll be able to make it. If not, totally okay. Uh, if not, again, happy Thanksgiving. I hope that's a good one for you. But that all having been said, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. It is currently 10:35. Somehow we managed to end on time despite the hour-long tangent that happened early at the beginning of the stream. As always, it's a delight to sit down for you and chat with you and write with you. You guys are keeping me going, even though, these streams are very small, and we haven't really gotten too much traction outside of the handful of people that come on and say hi regularly. Companion says turkey gobble gobble for sure. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you eat a turkey. Oh, you missed the entire thing where, I mean, I personally won't because I do tofurkey. I don't actually like turkey, and this is the first year that I had gotten my hands on a tofurkey brand tofurkey, like the official stuff. So I'm super excited. But if you do have turkey, I hope that I hope that's delicious. I second that. I hope that's delicious for all of you, and I hope that your feasts are delicious. I hope that your time is not going to be super stressful. I know that might be that meetings like Thanksgiving parties tend to be a little bit hit or miss, but I hope that they're very fun for all of you if you don't join me for stream. But all in all, Cryptic says, Corey just had to save me from my own clumsiness. I knocked over my popcorn bowl and they swept the mess up for me. That is hilarious. Tell Corey I said hi. But that having been said, for sure, we'll wrap it up here. And I will see you hopefully this Thursday. And if there's nobody there, fuck it. I'm just going to party on and write, and you'll be able to catch the playback eventually. But all in all, have a really good Sunday. Have a great rest of the night. Have a good Sunday. Have a good week. Have a good Thursday, Thanksgiving if I don't see you. And if I do see you, looking forward to chatting again. Thank you again for coming and hanging out with me this Saturday night. Love you all, and take care.